Gotta figure Derczo's best card is these 3 Bonfire of the Dams.
Yeah, for Derczo, Bonfire of the Dam should be great. You know, even Huntmaster of the Fells might be a pretty good card here.
It depends if you're able to keep just enough of multiple lords.
Turn 1, Island into Aether Vial for Justin LaRocque. And it's going to be a Birds of Paradise for Derczo off Basic Forest. See just how fast of a clock LaRocque can present. On our other matchups, Derczo's team actually, look at these deck choices. Colorless Eldrazi in Legacy. They're the only Colorless Eldrazi deck in Day 2. Madcap Moon, that's just crazy. And then Green-Red Aggro in Standard. They might be in the top 8, and there is just three decks I wouldn't have expected.
Indeed.
Merfolk Branchwalker for Justin LaRocque. His Merfolk deck is actually splat going into green rather heavily.
Yes. This is something that we've seen players do, starting with Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan. It's only compounded the benefits of going into green. You have Commander Speaker as a 1-mana 2/2 available in the deck, and we have some more green cards entering.
Yeah,
the
Merfolk
Branchwalker, the turn 2 play here.
Yeah, there's no actual Kumena or Lord, though. Just those?
Yeah, it makes sense to be off of Kumena. I think that card's a bit slow for Modern. Yeah, none of the blue-green Lord either.
So for Derczo, goes ahead and Stomping Ground. Let's see if he can accelerate into here. It's going to be Utopia Sprawl on the Forest. That's a free ramp here. Now 3 mana. We'll see where that brings him to. It's going to be Courser of Krufix. All right, and that's actually going to play very well here against the 3/2 that LaRocque presents.
For now.
Yeah, I mean, you think it might get bigger after this turn?
There's a chance that Branchwalker attacks for 4 or more in the following turn.
Chandra Torch of Defiance on top of Derczo's deck. Aether Vial ticks up to 2 as we go back over to LaRocque.
The Spreading Seas knock Utopia Sprawl off. I'm pretty sure it does. And this Merfolk deck, this is a 4 Spreading Seas deck.
Yeah, that's actually very good against the card Utopia Sprawl.
Yeah, it's an Enchant Forest Utopia Sprawl. So if the permanent you're enchanting changes from the type of permanent you're allowed to target in the first place, the aura just falls off.
Harbinger of the Tides from Justin puts the Birds of Paradise back into Michael's hand. And he'll swing with a 3/2. Yeah, you want to block with your Courser or Krufix. I would love this play. What if Justin doesn't have a Lord? I would love this attack.
Can't really make that block against Violon 2, but I do like it as a bluff.
Yeah. Michael down to 15.
Yeah, well, there was not a Lord in combat.
Oh, was it a bluff? That's 1 damage down if he didn't have it. Chandra drawn. I guess there's also the potential that he doesn't want to expose the Lord to Chandra.
Sure.
And that's worth 1 point of damage to Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Another Courser waiting on top for Derczo.
If you do have the Lord, next turn you can make the same attack, and maybe Derczo thinks you don't have it.
Oh man, that means you have to take a turn off. I mean, if you have another good 2-drop to put into play, I'm in. But if that's your only 2-drop, I want to tap that Aether Vial.
Might be fancy.
Birds of Paradise recast by Derczo. Oh, he doesn't have the land. He'll pass. Justin shows, yeah, he did have Master of the Pearl Trident. Puts that into play. That'll pump the team. Back over to LaRocque.
That's going to leave Derczo wondering if there was another 2 hiding out. There was. It's 2 more copies of Master of the Pearl Trident.
Once there's enough Lords on the board, well, assuming Derczo's even alive, he just runs out of ways to interact. His Bonfire of the Dams don't do as much. Dismember takes care of the Birds of Paradise. I love that play from LaRocque. He knows the top card of Derczo's deck is just a Courser.
Yeah, Derczo's already missed the land drop. Won't be able to cast that Chandra unless there's a land under the Courser.
Right. So here's a full swing from LaRocque. We see a 4/3, a 3/3, and a 2/2. Derczo's going to block, but pretty clear that there's something going on.
Yeah, you wouldn't expose this Lord in combat if you couldn't save it.
Yeah. Flashes in Master of the Pearl Trident again, so make that 5 and 4. It's 9. Derczo drops to 6. And even with the Chandra, I don't know that Michael makes it through the turn.
No, Chandra is not good against a lot of creatures.
Draws Courser, top card. Blood Moon. That
ought to do it.
Yeah.
I've heard that this card is frustratingly good.
Yeah, it's not really good against Aether Vial. Or just against Merfolk in general.
Yeah, basic Island is pretty good against Blood Moon.
Yeah, it's okay. They play a few of those. Actually, only four. Only four. He's the green version, right?
Four Flooded Strand as well, though.
Okay. You mean mountain? 4 more mountains.
Four fancy mountains.
Another Courser. That already on board is not enough.
Yes.
Well, so it looks like Derczo may not win this one. His teammate, however, Joshua Taylor, is going to help him out. With Colorless Eldrazi, he wins game 1.
Yeah, that deck can run your opponents over pretty quick.
And just to make sure, Justin's going to put a bunch more power on the board. Marrow Regery.
Maybe cast a Merfolk.
Sure, tap something. Oh, another Master. He'll cast this one. He can make sure he gets that tap. Taps the Courser. He's going to attack for a bunch.
Just running up the score now.
Yeah, that'll do. This'll work. It's for at least 6.
Yeah, that's good math.
There we go. Game 1 goes to Justin, LaRocque, and Merfolk. This one with top 8 on the line. Over in the standard match, green-red aggro versus blue-white approach. You mentioned that Glimmer of Genius deck's doing very well this weekend. So we will look at the sideboards options. It looks like Derczo may need some help when we're back in just a minute.
Go. Go.
So we're back here, Michael Derczo and Justin LaRocque here in Modern. These were two decks that are both on the fringes of the format, so that we weren't sure on the matchup. Having watched Game 1, Ryan, I like Merfolk pretty heavily here.
Yeah.
But let's look at Michael's sideboard. He's got some things that could help him, well, one card particularly.
Yeah, so the full sideboard, 4 Stone Rain, 3 Ancient Grudge, 3 Scavenging Ooze, and 2 Friend the Last Troll. The card you're looking to, 3 Anger of the Gods.
That one's good. It's not as good against Merfolk, I think, as it looks on the surface even.
No. They get to have 4 toughness at some point. Yeah, it's fine. It needs to be reinforced by some lightning bolts and what have you.
Right, it doesn't even clean up Mutavaults. So
Derczo brought 0 lightning bolts to play with?
This deck's not much of a lightning bolt deck. No,
Yeah,
that's normal for it.
Yeah, this Merfolk matchup's pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm looking at LaRocque's sideboard. I like some stuff he has going on too. Other cards he has 3 Gut Shot, 2 Dispel, 2 Echoing Truth, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Relic of Progenitus, and a Grafdigger's Cage. Not much there, but 3 Unified Will. I'm very behind that here.
Yep, that one almost assuredly coming in. Should be up on creatures. You stop the Haymakers that are kind of the hallmark of the green-red Ponza deck. There's a small argument for Gut Shot, just because this deck can accelerate with Arbor Elf, Birds of Paradise. It's not great. You probably don't need it.
See LaRocque talking with teammate Jorge Esquivel. He won the first game of his match with Blue-White Approach.
Blue-White Approach, definitely kind of a game one deck.
Yeah, we haven't seen that deck in a while. Or, I mean, just... And it seems like it would be fine to come back right now with all how mid-ranging decks are. Something like that just wins the game. I could get behind it.
Yeah. And this is the kind of matchup you like. You see green-red. Neither of those colors are blue. The biggest weakness of the Approach to the Second Suns deck is your opponent drawing 2 negates.
Yeah, 7-mana sorcery is kind of rough.
Yeah.
Well, you can let the first one get negated. That's okay.
That's true. In fact, you should not even negate the first copy if you are playing negates, unless you have lethal on the following turn.
Yeah, unless you actually want to negate, gain 7 life.
Yeah. Yeah, Approach to the Second Sun checks if it was previously cast.
Not resolved.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
Players in the Legacy Classic.
So what does Derczo, what can he do to interact here? At first I looked at, you mentioned Bonfire of the Damned being great. I was thinking maybe Huntmaster of the Fells. I'm not sure.
I think Huntmaster is actually pretty slow. It's going to get outsized most of the time. This 1 Inferno Titan, and frequently you see builds that play 4. I'd be happier to have 4 if you could accelerate it out.
Sure.
But the 1's still fine. He's largely looking at this Madcap Experiment combo.
Ooh, okay.
Getting the Empyrean out, never attacking with it, figuring out a way to win otherwise so he doesn't get Harbinger to the Tides.
Is there a way to knock it off the board for LaRocque?
Post-sideboard, LaRocque does have some Echoing Truths if he wants them.
I guess otherwise we're looking at Regery plus Harbinger to get rid of it?
That's true, yeah. That is a combination.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't want to bank on that. But
I don't think, that's not even that hard to assemble. Derczo's not even playing Lightning Bolts.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Derczo doesn't have much removal, and Merfolk likes that a lot.
Yes.
See if Derczo can... He always, though, can get some fast starts. Remember, his deck's capable of a turn 2 Blood Moon on the play.
Sure is.
I don't even know if he's kept in Blood Moons.
It's not great.
He probably has to.
It turns off Mutavault.
And all the green mana on the deck. There's no...
Yes.
I mean,
except for the Ether Vial.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, in matches or games where Mutavault's really going to matter, he's already under duress of the Lords and is probably leaning on Platinum Empyrean in the first place. So Blood Moon does not seem particularly good. It's generally pretty difficult to keep an aggressive 2-color deck off of mana. Like, there's no basic forest, sure. But it's just not a serious problem for the Merfolk deck.
All right, turn 1 Birds of Paradise here from Michael Derczo. Anthony Kumena's Speaker from LaRocque. So a turn 2 Blood Moon would play here. LaRocque has not shown a basic land just yet.
Yeah, it looks like there's a Flooded Strand in hand that would not be able to fetch.
Yeah, and if you're playing against a Blood Moon deck, I almost want to... Well, I guess if your turn 1's Kumena's Speaker, you just need to make this play. I was going to say, I want to just get an island out if that's what you're sitting on.
I think needs strong.
Yeah.
It's possible that he thinks that Blood Moon's just not going to be around.
You know, we're at a closer matchup. Derczo might board it out, but I think he's behind by enough here. You see the turn 2 Blood Moon. That he has to just keep him in. He needs to try to win like this.
Yeah, and with the turn 1 play not being Ether Vial, this could be a problem.
And yeah, there's the fetch land in LaRocque's hand, but it is not a base. He does not have a basic island. He just has mountains.
Please call for a judge.
And a 1/1 Kumena's Speaker.
Yeah, it's back down to 1.
We will be more than happy to tell you if you're about to go.
Blood Moon. This Blood Moon's just a great card. I don't know. Man.
How do you ever
so
lose?
Good. This is what a fun... I'm really glad to travel to have this experience of... Okay, Madcap Experiment. Cool. He's going to go with an Empyrean. That's neat. Blood Moon's not. So normally he would lose a lot of life.
You like this
take
more
a lot
than
of damage.
You like this more than Blood Moon?
This is fine.
I'm very okay with Blood Moon.
Oh yeah, this game's a big advertisement for Blood Moon.
Just fetch the island.
Yeah.
This is a lot of cards. Maybe he boarded Empyrean out. That's Justin's out.
Well, Justin will get to see the whole deck. Oh, that's got to see Anger of the Gods. Okay. He has them,
there's
right?
there's only 2 copies, so you know. Luckily, Madcap Experiment does not put the cards into your graveyard.
No, okay. It's just, oh, bottom in a random order. Okay. He left them in, right?
There we go.
Does he have 1 card left in his hand? Was that was second from the bottom?
It's possible he already drew a Platinum Empyrean. Otherwise, it's just 2 on the bottom.
Yeah, he's left. So this is right. It doesn't matter how many are in it. He's not taking damage.
Derczo saying, yeah, go ahead and look at these.
Let's look at the deck.
Look at all those other Blood Moons.
Yep.
Look at your Flooded Strand. I don't think that basic island would have done anything. Not against this Empyrean. Yeah.
Unified Will wouldn't even be on.
Yeah, just behind on creatures.
Yeah. All right. Evens it up 1 game apiece. It's this deck's great.
The old red-green combo deck. And Justin's going to look at how he's sideboarded, possibly reaching for those Echoing Truths. He's going to have some play against Blood Moon and Platinum Empyrean. So we'll see if there's any changes there. Derczo's also looking at his sideboard. Those Blood Moons do get a bit worse when he's on the draw. And the rest of the stuff he fanned over there, and it doesn't really appreciably change in value. There's some matchups where you could conceivably board out the Madcap Experiments and the Platinum Empyreans, but this is likely not one of those matchups. So Derczo's likely saying very close to his Game 2 configuration there. And you see Justin's going to doing some deliberating. I do think that Echoing Truth is probably good enough to bring in.
Yeah, so Justin's seen Blood Moon, and you mentioned that only really changes his play style. I guess he needs an Echoing Truth.
Yeah, it changes the style. Bring in 1, maybe both Echoing Truths.
Well, Grafdigger's Cage actually works here too, doesn't it?
Derczo has shown that there are Ancient Grudge in his deck.
But so it would stop Madcap Experiment.
You can reach for it, yes. No, yeah. He has counterplay to it, but it is reasonable to set up with the Cage.
Yeah, if you're just looking for additional outs to a Platinum Empyrean. See, looking over their teammates' decks. Now, this is our last round of the Swiss here. So for those of you watching us over on twitch.tv, we have our Twitch subscription program. What that means is for all subscribers here, once we finish this round, we take a break for an hour. The tournament has to conclude. The judges need to deck check all the members of the tournament, and then we set up the top 8 bracket. You can subscribe now, and half an hour before the beginning of the top 8, we will list the bracket on screen, and we'll open up voting for all subscribers to see which matches they would like to see. So you can do that now. You subscribe. You also get custom emoticons and a badge for your name in chat. It's only $4.99 a month. It's twitch.tv/SCGTour, likely where you already are watching.
Yeah, we're going to see some sweet decks in the top 8 for sure. Might even see red-green Ponza. Or Madcap Moon.
Well, the Ponza's in the board. He does have these 4 Stone Rains in the sideboard.
His main deck looks like a lot of, or at least very similar to a lot of post-sideboard configurations for the deck.
Yeah, I agree. For LaRocque, so he knows what his opponent's up to. I don't really see if he has a strategy around it, though.
Yeah, game 1, he just won by such a wide margin. You just got to be mindful of the Madcap Experiment, have a plan for Platinum Empyrean. Maybe pay a little bit more mind to how vulnerable you are to Blood Moon, but if your opening hand is Ether Vial, that just kind of cracks that open.
Right. See, on the other games, now the whole match is evened up. 2 games for each team. Joshua Taylor ahead in Legacy. However, Matt Tumavitch is behind in Standard. Do you want to talk about the green-red aggro deck of Matt Tumavitch? It's actually just straight 2 colors. It's not, first I thought it'd be a mono red deck splashing green, but we see Earthshaker Kenra, Merfolk Branchwalker, Jade Light Ranger, Thrashing Brontodon, Rekindling Phoenix. Even goes up to Gear Hulk with Magma Sprays and Abrades. This is kind of a take on the green-red Monsters deck, but it's much lower to the ground.
Yeah, a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if this is the right mix of things to beat Blue-White Approach, though.
Yeah, I guess I like it being closer to the ground if you want to beat Blue-White Approach. I think the more mid-range you get, the worse this matchup's going to become. If you take the Earthshaker Kenras out and, you know, replace them with more removal, maybe some Harness Lightnings or something, I don't think I'd like that.
This particular build of Approach is on 4 Settle the Wreckage, which is really tough for this beatdown deck, also supplemented by 3 Fumigate.
Yeah, that's not going to be great.
Something I really like about this Blue-White Approach build is 1 copy of Azor's Gateway.
Yeah, but Legacy, they're also in sideboarding now. Lloyd Kurth with Esper Deathblade takes game 2. Slowly going to 3 against Carlos Eldrazi. It is always scary to go to game 3 to put Carlos Eldrazi on the play, and Lloyd's going to have to win that way.
Yeah, not only does the deck just have very fast aggressive draws, but just being on the draw against Chalice of the Void, that is scary.
Right.
Can't resolve your Deathrite Shaman through that one.
Do you play much Deathblade? I know that you're normally on Delvers and Legacy.
I don't think I've ever registered Stoneforge Mystic for a non-extended tournament.
Okay.
I guess I played it a little in Standard, but I was not playing much during Cobblade.
Still too many creatures for me. I've played Miracles back when it was really good. I wasn't very good at it, but I still won a lot because it was a really good deck.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't have the patience to play a deck like Miracles. I think maybe like 19-year-old Ryan might have played that one, but he's been dead for years.
I hope he got older. That's kind of...
No, he died.
Oh.
Yeah.
That stinks. Players looking here, yeah, all looks like we're in sideboarding just about across the map here. Well, everybody's we'll get this modern match started. LaRocque will be back on the play. You're always scared when you play against these Madcap decks when they just like look and snap keep on 7. It's just like, oh, really?
My opponent's Madcap experience usually don't resolve.
And they're always playing Blood Moon. That's the one you care about. Madcap Experiment's fine. You can beat that card.
Yeah.
It's Blood Moon that's messed up.
Justin's hand has 2 basic islands, or an Ether Vial.
Yeah, he's going to throw it back. Derczo's keeping on 7. Turn 2, going to be something big.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
All right, so if you haven't had a chance, the Star City Games weekly sale is still ongoing, but only through today. So every week over at the store, we put a different item on sale, and this last week we have over 1,000 different MTG singles priced at just $1. That sale goes on all day today, so make sure to go and to check out the list and grab some of the staples you need, and then check in tomorrow morning when we put a new deal up on the website, starcitygames.com/weekly sale.
We've seen a lot of those crop rotations this weekend.
Yeah.
Turbo Depths lands.
You know, Turbo Depths we've seen some resurgence there this weekend. Got a copy of it into day 2. We saw Rio Trevathan with MTGAccess.org. That team do very well, almost making it into day 2. Rio is playing it.
He's playing it in the Classic again today as well.
Great. We're starting to see some of these land-based decks that aren't just straight lands, things like Punishing Abzan and Turbo Depths are creeping up in the meta. LaRocque kept on 7, turn 1. He's going to get that basic island out into play. Got Blood Moon last time.
Yeah. Fool me once. Shame on you.
Looks like he also has Aether Vial, so Blood Moon's just a blank.
And he gets Basic Island. You want to make sure you're still able to cast Unified Will and Spreading Seas.
And Birds of Paradise here for Derczo. Got something on turn 2. We'll see what it is. Go back to LaRocque. Cavern of Souls on Merfolk. He's going to cast Merfolk Branchwalker. Shows Master of the Pearl Trident on top, so gets his 3/2. Imagine he wants a Lord. He's got another Master of the Pearl Trident in hand.
Probably keep that one. With 2 Lords, it's a little bit dicey. Now that you know that Derczo is heavy on Anger of the Gods, you don't necessarily want to only put 2 Lords onto the battlefield, because they only make each other 3/3s, and the whole domino row just falls down. He'd kind of like to have a Unified Will in hand.
Go ahead and put it in the graveyard. Go back over to Derczo. A Unified Will is good, but starting to notice here, you know, Derczo frequently has turn 1 mana creatures, so Unified Will is not free in this matchup. 3 mana, we got Blood Moon again. No, just Courser of Kruphix. With Stomping Ground on top, he'll pass.
That one figures to be a bit better than Blood Moon in this game.
What a weird deck here. Anger of the Gods in Derczo's hand. Just gonna use Birds of Paradise to accelerate into it, but it's probably still fine.
Yeah, being able to cast Anger on turn 2, that's a thing against some decks, right?
Kumena's Speaker. 2/4 is holding off LaRocque at the moment. He's gonna swing.
And Derczo has an Anger in
is
hand.
He gonna call? Yeah, I think he's gonna call.
Because the Courser's a 2/4, you might just let this through, but you do kind of want to force Justin to put a Lord into play.
Yeah, I want everything. I want that trade. Yeah. Right, so LaRocque's saying that he has a Lord to pump and win combat, but that just sounds great. Now, if LaRocque's hand is Lord Unified Will, then Derczo's just going to get blown out.
It would not be ideal. Yeah, Derczo's going to give it a think. It's an interesting spot. I think from 20, I'm interested in keeping the Courser around. Again, it does take a lot of Lords to get you out of Anger of the Gods range, and Derczo does have a little bit of time to play with.
Sure.
And he decides to take it.
He has to take it. All right. No response there from LaRocque. He'll just pass. Draws, Stomping Ground, top card, Ancient Grudge. Sure, there's an Aether Vial.
That is fine.
You know, and one of the things I think what Derczo can do here is that he can take the damage and gain life off his lands, which means, yeah, another Courser. Okay, this explains the no block pretty well. He actually just isn't losing life at this point.
Yeah.
Now, he's got to be careful as he goes back up to 19 that he doesn't let the Merfolk outsize Anger of the Gods.
Yes.
Enough Lord, if they all start becoming X4s, then he's in a lot of trouble. But that's actually 3 Lords away from that happening.
Yeah, and Justin did bin that other Master.
Yeah. Justin shows, yes, he did have Master of the Pearl Trident. Draws for turn. 2 cards. If they're both Lords, then Derczo took a risk that he's going to have trouble with. But just 1 more in Anger will clean up everything next turn.
And they're at creature parity currently. So if he has Unified Will, it has to be creature plus Unified Will.
Yeah, only 2 cards in LaRocque's hand.
And we're going back to Derczo. Gonna draw that Ancient Grudge. That should be taking care of the Aether Vial at some point here.
Now Anger of the Gods on top of the deck, so no more surprises there. All matches heading to Game 3. Matt Tumavitch on green-red gets another one. So, first team to win 2 games here is going to go to the top 8.
Coming down to it. I don't think we've had a match at this position just yet this weekend.
I agree. Up to 21, Derczo off that mountain. Things look good right now for Derczo in this match. He's he's made it to turn 4 without taking, at over 20 life. He grudges away the Aether Vial. That works. You see Platinum Empyrean in Derczo's hand. I always cheer for the kind of games these decks where they just really are derping where he just casts the Empyrean. But he's going to go a different line. He's going to cast Anger of the Gods here. Now that the Vial's offline, no fear of any sort of play. Anger sweeps up his own Birds of Paradise and all of Justin's Merfolk.
Big attack for 4. Yeah, it's only 2 cards left in Justin's hand and nothing he wanted to contribute to the battlefield last turn. Derczo is firmly in the driver's seat.
Yeah. LaRocque's going to try to rebuild. Lord of Atlantis is the play, but there's another Anger of the Gods on top of the deck.
That's covered.
Yeah.
Derczo doesn't even necessarily have to cast that now. It's fine to do it.
Sure. Blood Moon on top. Just gonna the slow death of 2 Courser of Kruphix.
I've seen slower.
Yeah. Here's a swing for 4 more. LaRocque down to 12. He's gonna have to try to rebuild his board.
And Derczo says, you're not going to get out of this anger range. Play more creatures if you want. I'm winning.
The danger would be if LaRocque just plays land 4 double lord. He could get out of anger range. It'd be really strange if those were his cards.
Yeah, it just wouldn't make any sense.
Kumena's Speaker up to a 3/3. Life total correction here, Justin actually at 11, not 12.
Derczo draws out Blood Moon, has Stomping Ground on top, plays that. It's a wash on life totals because of double Courser. Ooh, and for 5 mana, Bonfire of the Damned for X = 2. That cleans up those Merfolk.
Okay. And remember, Bonfire, when it's miracled, also goes upstairs. So that's a 5-point swing in. They're a 2-point swing into the face. 4 more in. LaRocque down to 5. Land tapped. Looks like this one's going to go Derczo's way.
Yeah. Especially with that anger. There's just no way that Justin can clean up from here.
Yeah, 2 more life. Derczo up to 23. Gonna walk it in with this pair of 2/4s. Almost enough mana to cast his Platinum Empyrean.
Shucks.
Not gonna get to see it.
Can sure cast Blood Moon, though. There it is. The powerful enchantment.
There we go. Keep your opponent off that green mana. Put him down to 1. LaRocque's going to get a draw step, but there's no card he can draw from here that'll save him. Going to just confirm it for himself. Picks up a card, and that should be the match. He wants to make him do it.
Do you even know how to attack with those creatures?
Yeah.
Or any one of those 3 creatures? Derczo's going to pump the ooze. Send a message.
Legacy Challenge players, the pairings for you around.
Yeah, LaRocque not even on Cryptic Command mana because of the Blood Moon. Now that Merfolk even plays it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think they play Cryptic Command. Echoing Truth. We'll put both Coursers back in Derczo's hand. That's fine. Scavenging Ooze gets him, though. Derczo, 2-1 with Madcap Moon. He takes care of the modern match. His team now 1 game win away from the top 8. And with that, we're going to move over to the Legacy table. Joshua Taylor on Colorless Eldrazi. He was on the play here in Game 3 against Lloyd Kurth's Esper Deathblade.
We'll find out exactly where this is. Frequently in these matchups, Colorless Eldrazi does need to have a good opening hand.
Yeah, on the first few turns, it's either very good or very bad news for Eldrazi. We'll see which one it is.
Yeah, you get some games where they're drawing live to Reality Smasher, and you get some games where they just fall behind if they're not doing enough in the early turns. So, find out exactly how the game is going. Taylor with his head in his hands, that's not a great sign. All right, so we got some creatures hanging out.
So on Joshua Taylor's side, he has Thorn of Amethyst, Chalice the Void on 1, Reality Smasher, and Umezawa's Jite. Lloyd Kurth has Deathrite Shaman, Baleful Strix, and Snapcaster Mage in play. 1 card in Taylor's hand. Looks like a few in Lloyd's.
Chalice of the Void on 1.
Yeah, that's big. Here's Council's Judgment from Lloyd. Probably going to vote for that Reality Smasher. And I don't believe you have to discard a card in that situation. It's not targeted.
Correct.
And he'll swing in for 3. Puts Taylor down to 13.
And that Jite, it's nice if you can hook it up, but that does not seem to be what's happening.
You'd like to draw some creature. Walking Ballista, the pickup, that's not bad.
The hand already thought Nazier.
Yeah. So here's Thought-Knots here. We'll get a look at Lloyd's hand. It's with Cavern of Souls. So we see Council's Judgment, Thought Seize, Batterskull, True Name Nemesis, Force of Will. None of these, I mean, he has to, I believe, take the Council's Judgment. Otherwise, he'll just lose Thought Knot Seer.
Yeah, there's truth to that. The rest of the hand here is bad news, though. True Name Nemesis and Batterskull individually are both very good against this deck. The combination of the two, if Lloyd can set that up.
Well, it's not clear, right? He's 1 mana short. And if Joshua gets to connect with that Thought Knot and Jite, he does get to mop up the board. Suppose Baleful Strix is still in the way.
Though in the following turn, if Taylor gets on tap with the Thought Knot, he will have the Walking Ballista to take care of the Baleful Strix on the following turn.
Now, he actually let Lloyd keep Council's Judgment. He picked True Name Nemesis here. I'm surprised by that one.
I don't know if there's another land in graveyards. So Thorn and Amethyst does turn off Council's Judgment if the Shaman can't make mana.
Okay.
Whereas the True Name Nemesis, well, there's only one blue source on the battlefield, so that one wasn't castable either. But the Judgment makes it so the Jite couldn't be hooked up.
Oh, he has this Wasteland, so he's going to try to just keep Lloyd off of Council's Judgment. He wastes away. Okay, a land. Now it's another Tundra from Lloyd.
It was a good draw.
It's a good draw. Yeah, now it lands in the graveyard. Council's Judgment's going to work. Lloyd gets to draw a new card. Swings in for 3. Joshua down to 10. I guess the True Name Nemesis in play, Joshua doesn't have much game either.
Yes.
Just as a blocker, it's too strong.
Yeah, you can't get Jite going against True Name Nemesis.
So he made a play. He was hoping to fade a land drop, but then he did not. Here's Matter Reshaper for 1. Next turn he could equip the Jite to it. But now life totals have started to even. Joshua at 10 to Lloyd's 11.
And Lloyd a bit of a ways away from actually casting the Batterskull. There's the lands in the graveyard now, so he has access to 4 mana, but it would cost 6 for Batterskull under the Thorn. Yeah, the Thoughtseize doesn't play because of the Chalice. The Force of Will unlikely to play because of the Cavern. Though if that Walking Ballista matters, that could potentially be available if another blue card is drawn.
Swing for 3. This will put Josh down to 7.
Yeah, when you have Jite, you don't really want to get the Matter Reshaper involved in combat.
Yeah, I'll just let that happen. Joshua down to 7. This feels like there's going to be a land and a Batterskull here then, by the way, by this attack.
That would be 1 mana short because of the Thorn.
Oh, you're right. Can't do it. Thorn of Amethyst.
Zach Sexton and Brad Bonin to the Legacy Challenge, please.
Well, Lloyd has to have an answer to this Jite equip.
Yes. He's not posturing like he has a great answer.
I mean, Baleful Strix was a fine answer. He's going to cast Lingering Souls. I don't know if that's a good enough answer.
He'll take care of the Reshaper in combat anyway.
Now here's Wasteland drawn by Joshua Taylor. This game's gotten interesting.
Yeah. The way it's going right now, it's looking like the Jite is going to be able to do some work.
Yeah, and because of the Walking Ballista in Taylor's hand, he can play Ballista on 1, and that means even a double block from Lloyd won't kill their Matter Reshaper. Normally want Matter Reshaper to die, but on this board, I don't think Joshua wants that to happen.
Well, he'd have to wait 2 turns to do that. He'd have to hook up this turn or cast Ballista this turn.
You're right, he can't do both, and I'm not sure he has time to take a turn off from getting Jite counters. Yeah. He's at 7.
Yeah, from when we've tuned in, that Eye of Ugin would be a lot better as a City of Traders.
Yeah, with him at 7, it's right. There's 3 damage in the air, 2 more off the Deathrite. We're getting very close. Well, actually, never mind. Deathrite, we only have Tundras.
No, yeah. I think that you just have to equip, attack, and kind of hope for a good Reshaper flip.
Yeah, it flips into, say, another Reshaper, then you're good.
Yeah, the old infinite value engine.
Now he's got a question for the judge. Going to ask that one away from table. We're going to hang on to this board state here.
There's only one card you don't know about.
So right now, with a win, right, the team of Taylor, Derczo, and Tumavitch, they currently are 11-3. If they lose this match, it's possible they still top 8. Unlikely. The team of Kurth, LaRocque, and Esquivel are 10-3-1. They're in with a win and out with a loss. That one's pretty straightforward.
So we're back into the game.
Okay. 2 match games left, 10 minutes in the round. You know, a draw, if this ends up drawing, Joshua Taylor's team is fine with a draw here. They will top 8 on a draw. Esquivel's team, Lloyd Kurth's team, they will be out if a draw happens. So it reshapes into City of Traders.
He could cast the Ballista this turn.
Yeah. It's not horrible.
From 7, seems like he should have time to just GT up the Ballista.
See what he wants to do with the GT counters.
2 p.m. standard challenge players. Your pairings for round 3 are.
He can remove Baleful Strix and Snapcaster Mage.
Pairings for round 3 are.
Actually, he's going to use both counters on getting rid of Deathrite Shaman. He's going to go for his opponent's mana.
Yeah, if you're using it at sorcery speed, Deathrite Shaman's probably the only thing that you're hitting.
And he says go. Does not play his land for the turn in Wasteland because he doesn't want to lose City of Traders. Does not play Walking Ballista. It looks like he wants to play Ballista on 2 next turn. But he'll drop down to 4.
I'm a little bit surprised that you wouldn't make the Ballista on 1 given the active GT.
My problem here is that there's no guarantee. Remember that Cavern of Souls is set to Eldrazi, which Walking Ballista isn't. There is a Force of Will in your opponent's hand. You need to respect this.
Yeah, giving them another draw towards blue card is dicey.
Yeah. Lloyd Kurth's going to fetch down to 10. There we go. There's black mana for Lingering Souls. So I like what Lloyd can do. He can cast Lingering Souls, and he can Wasteland something. He'll Wasteland the City of Traders. Yeah, if you're going to leave up the City of Traders to make Ballista next turn, the problem is your opponent has a Wasteland in play. And he'll make Lingering Souls, passes back, and Joshua's got nothing. So Lloyd Kurth with Esper Deathblade, he is your winner. Now we're down to just 1 game.
It's looking like we're down to 0 games.
Looks like we're down to 0 games. We're going to confirm here. Saw some other handshakes. We're waiting to see where Matt Tumavitch and Jorge Esquivel are. Looks like they're finishing at about the same time. We're gonna find it out in a second. The players know. And Matt Tumavitch, actually, with green-red aggro, is the winner. So despite Lloyd Kurth's win, it is the team of Taylor, Derczo, and Tumavitch. They pick up the win, and they are into the top 8.